I'm Kosta Macreas, the founder of etletstalk.com and the People's Disclosure Movement. I want to welcome you today to the March 26, 2022 version of our People's Disclosure Movement webinar. These webinars are set up to feature members of our ET Let's Talk and People's Disclosure Movement community who are doing their own C5 or otherwise direct contact with star civilizations. A lot of people are very creative in our community, and this is the show that features what they're doing, so they get a chance to talk about their projects, their events, their videos, their books, etc. Today we have a very light program, but the program nonetheless will be archived so that it will be sent across social media, so that lots more people usually will be picking it up, as they always do. But I want to welcome all of you, and also to give you a little bit of introduction, because I'm never sure who's watching this for the first time and who might or might not be familiar with what we do. I'd like to reiterate. Again, I'm Kosta Macreas, and in 2010, through my direct contacts with star people, the People's Disclosure Movement was born at their request. They asked me and all my allies and colleagues, who have now numbered into the thousands, they have asked us to create as many contact teams as possible in as many places as possible, as quickly as possible. And the reason is, they said, because at some point a tipping point would be reached where so many people had requested their presence and had seen them in the skies or otherwise communicated with them, thus giving them permission to show up in more places where even more people would see them and give them permission to show up in more places. So much of this virtuous circle, as they called it, would happen over time, that soon a tipping point would be reached where no government or institution of authority could ever again conceal their presence. And we all know, or those of us who are new or maybe just learning, that there's been a cover-up going on for at least 70 years. So what I say is, welcome to the People's Disclosure Movement that was started in 2010 and involves this grassroots effort that now has 1 million people in it in more than 100 countries around the world, making contact on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. This is truly a people's movement. And the idea is that we take power back from the authorities and stop begging for them to disclose and spending all that time, all that energy, wanting some announcement from a prime minister, from a president, from a potentate, or whatever, from some authority to tell us what we already know. They're here, they're clear, get used to it. And we're making contact with them. And now they tell me that in 2019, the tipping point that I was mentioning before was in fact reached. We are now, and these are their words, a snowball rolling downhill that cannot be stopped, our People's Disclosure Movement. So this is the good news and the joy that I want to bring to all of you and inform you about, if you don't already know, and also to thank you, because this is a group effort. It is not my movement or that person's or that other person's movement. It's really been all of us, 1 million of us now, who have done this work of making our own contact, using protocols to do so, and discovering that we are being communicated with in so many different and creative ways. So that's what the People's Disclosure Movement is. We're making history. We're humanity becoming cosmic humanity, and this only bodes well for the whole Earth. Someday we will have full open contact on the Earth, and that will be a whole nother new ball game. But we are preparing the ground now in the People's Disclosure Movement by being the advanced guard of humanity who's making the initial contact as new people are coming on behind us and learning how to do their own. According to recent research, there are 1.3 billion people, adults, globally on Earth, who not only believe that intelligent star civilizations exist, but that we should be communicating with them. So in essence and in theory, that's 1.3 billion with the B people who support the People's Disclosure Movement in theory. And I urge all of you who see this webinar and others that I've produced along these same lines, please spread them out to your networks, wherever you're active, and let people know that we exist. We're a people's movement who've taken our power back, and we have been having results. The star people are overjoyed, and I really want to emphasize that so that we also take on that joy and realize that we are creating the future that we want, and they are here and willing to mentor us and to help in any and every way that they can, because what they have said is to look on them not as gods, but as elder brothers, sisters, and cousins. They literally have said they are family. And so they're waiting. Come to etletstalk.com, join our movement there, and make your own contact. Take back your own power. And don't just believe what I'm saying about thousands of people having made successful contact. Prove it for yourself. And if it's not something that resonates with you, please just walk away. This is not a you have to believe me type of thing. It's be your own authority. Your higher self knows best. And if this is not for you, go do something else. But I think many of you will find that this is an open door to the kind of communication you probably never thought was possible. I know that's true for me. And someday I'll record my origin story of what got me excited and served as my entrance into this movement. So that's the short, long story there. I welcome all of you to join us. Today we have with us our sole presenter, Sylvain Rochon, who will talk about the Alliance for ET Contact and the embassy that his group is building. But I will let him take the stage now and go ahead and inform you. Thank you all for joining in.
Thank you so much, Kosta. I appreciate everything that you're doing and the disclosure movement, the snowball, thanks to you. And from our discovery at the Alliance, many other organizations, similarly minded people are working on the grassroots level to bring awareness to humanity, to bring unity, and to also educate people about the contacts we've humans have been having for thousands of years and more. A lot more recently, but this is not a new thing. Now, the Alliance for Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact, that's our organization. Its goal is very simple, even though it's a challenge to implement. The goal is to build an official, like UN-approved extraterrestrial, embassy for an extraterrestrial civilization here on Earth, of course. That means adhering to the Vienna Convention. Like it's not just a building on some purchased piece of land. It must be constructed based on the protocols established by the Vienna Convention of 1961. And then it can follow the rules of that. And that means that a nation must provide the land and assign it what's called extraterritoriality, which essentially means this is, they say this land here is no longer part of my nation, is now part of the other nation, right? The nation for which the embassy is going to be built for. In this case, it would be an embassy for an extraterrestrial civilization. And therefore, one of the steps is to have an optional protocol to the Vienna Convention to allow for nations not to be of this earth and to be acceptable. So that's one of the actual technical steps that we have to traverse as an organization. Now, we are a not-for-profit. We're registered here in Canada, and it's a volunteer run, including myself and all the directors and all the volunteers. And you're welcome to join if you want to volunteer, by the way. We're just there to promote and gather some STEAM organizations that are in support of the project, and of course individuals that are supporting the project, especially scientists and engineers and people of prominence that have a bigger voice in the community, politicians and diplomats, of course, included. And we're gathering all this support and implementing the project along with all the supporting organizations. Many organizations have provided volunteers, promotion of the idea, and the original founding organization that is supporting the International Raelian Movement is providing the $50 million that Kosta mentioned earlier, and that fund is still growing. It has been since 1974. That's why it's not a recent raise. It's been going on for a while. But now the alliance has been created to basically gift all these efforts for years and years and years, and adding more groups and teams to it to make it an international, ubiquitous project for everybody, because it's a project for humanity. Once the embassies purchase using that said fund and on extraterritorial land given by a nation with the protocol accepted at the United Nations, the land and the building becomes property of the ET civilization. That's how it works. That's how embassies work. The building and the land becomes property and of the organization that sorry, the civilization that comes in. So our activities, for one, we have a conference in October. We also generate a bunch of videos that are informative, and we invite other organizations to join us and support the effort and contribute whatever they can to help this whole idea come to fruition. And I wanted to since I'm here often with Kosta is graciously accepting me to have a bit of time, I'd like to point out something that I think is very special and timely in these days. Our newest organization that has devoted support and that for which we'll actually create a forum video with is Russian. And I found that very interesting. It is a Russian organization called Association Ecology of the Unknown. It is primarily scientists and engineers in Russia, but also some international members that have been since the late 90s thinking about humanity's place in the cosmos and how space and also, the Earth should be shared, and we are just one civilization, one people without borders, and so space should not be owned by any nation, and these kind of ideologies, because it's a little bit like international waters, if you would. Space is shared with, guess what, other civilizations. So it's not really about a fight whether it's China or Russia or US or Israel that should own the space around the planet or anywhere in the solar system. That's kind of pointless if there's like dozens of civilizations that are using that space already and have been for thousands of years. It's a bit presumptuous that we can claim and put a flag in there and say this is one nation or even humanity's space in general. So I, of course, welcomed these eminent scientists from Russia, especially now. It just goes to show that despite conflicts that are emanating, in Eastern Europe and Asia, the individuals are those that count. The individuals that have pure ideas, that are full of love, that want to unify, that want to speak the same language as everybody else, a language of understanding, compassion, consciousness. They're everywhere. And that's really the point. It's like we are one, we are united. And we are united in all of our differences, including where we were born, our languages, what we like, all that stuff. So I wanted to point that out because they are lovely people, and we are making a new video to talk about this specifically in collaboration, because it doesn't matter what the squabbles are in all sorts of areas, like political or otherwise. We are the people, and the people just want to have a good life, and we want to expand our brains, and we want to be full of love, and we want to collaborate with others that are around. beyond boundaries. So I think it's a timely message of collaboration across borders. So I wanted to share that with you. And also another little note, we probably have found another keynote speaker that would be awesome for our conference. Unconfirmed, so I won't tell you the name. But I think it'll be we'll make a reveal hopefully maybe next month. We'll be able to tell you who that person is, who's also going to speak at the conference as a keynote speaker, who has a great influence in our area space, and also in entrepreneurial area, as well as political. So that is my news for today. If people want to contact me, just go to the Alliance website, alliance4et.org. And if you want to participate in the conference, well, you can go through that path, and there's a link to the conference from there. Thank you, Kosta.
Well, thank you, Sylvain. That was an excellent summary of the big plan. And what I really appreciate about the Alliance is that it really is an alliance of groups. It's not any one. And if you're within this field, you know that there are a lot of groups that have different philosophies along a continuum about ET, star people, etc. The fact that this kind of alliance is bringing us together, that no matter what our individual little approaches or worldviews are like, we can all agree that the biggest picture is the universal one, which is we humans have to step up and present ourselves as, like you said, the one humanity, the best of what we have to offer, the best part of ourselves in the aggregate for the first time on as large a scale as possible. And that's what I like about the Alliance is there's no one predominating philosophy, but we are all cooperating at the higher level to bring about the highest good for the greatest number as we meet all these different civilizations. I like to think that the reason that they've come to visit us on Earth, and there are many, many of them, hundreds, if not thousands of civilizations, is the fact that they, at some level, also see the potential in us to grow spiritually, to evolve, and to let love and compassion bring us together as one humanity, versus what a lot of our history has, not been. But now we have that opportunity, and I think it's nice to know that there are those, our cosmic families, that believe in us, and we believe in each other as we form this alliance. So thank you for doing that, and I want to thank all the other partner organizations, the many ones that are stepping up, to join this growing movement. That will conclude it for right now. We would appreciate if you're interested in a free membership, come to etletstalk.com. You'll get on the mailing list, and I will be notifying you of webinars like this one. And I want to give a shout out also notifying you about our global CE5 initiative monthly events. We've been doing these since 2010, where we choose a Saturday nearest the new moon so that there's a dark sky, so for people who want to go outside to make contact, although you don't have to. It can also be done indoors, and a lot of people do that. But every Saturday, every month, closest to the darkness of the moon, I notify people, and in a virtual way all over the planet, our groups get together as one and make our contact with an attitude of goodwill, of open minds, and loving hearts, so that we create a group field of welcome and open communication. And we've been doing this again month after month. We're in our 12th year now, and we've had thousands upon thousands of contacts from people everywhere. So it's real exciting, and that's what you are able to do when you join us for free as a member, as well as lots of other goodies that I'm able to provide all of you. So thank you, everyone, for listening to us and joining us, and for all that you all are doing making your contact, because it has made a difference, and it's making a difference as our movement keeps growing. So take care. In Lakesh, I am another you. Bye for now. See you next month.